Hello, my people, and welcome if you're new here. My name is Kristen, and you are in the good. And today's conversation is our weekly love intimacy read. So let's find out a little bit about some energies going on maybe between you and someone else. And this is for all stages of relationship, all types of relationships, any number of years. It's interesting how we wind our way in relationship with others and how things develop, change, grow all throughout the years. So what are the insights? What's the magic? What's the divine timing? What are the validations that we need to confirm? What's hidden? What lies beneath? What's coming into light? Where have we lit up? What's the path forward? What's the advice? Going with the flow. So this is about being in flow while being in your emotions, not letting your emotions carry you away, or letting the turbulence of how your heart is feeling, how chaotic or challenging being in connection with another person and feeling an emotional or intimate connection can bring up stuff for both us and them. And being in flow, you know, with the blue here, it also reminds me of the throat chakra. Although there is green in here as well, as you can see, and a little bit of white. This is not forgetting your intuition. You know that you know what you know about how you feel, about what you've been feeling, about how somebody else makes you feel. And you're not wrong. Just because there hasn't maybe been a certain consistency, just because the plan that you had in your mind or the story that you tell yourself around what you want in relationship and intimacy and being connected with another in that way isn't flowing exactly as you would like, doesn't mean that you are caught up in a tidal wave, right? They're flowing here. And heart, and trusting your heart. I don't want to say it's all about protecting your heart, because whatever boundaries that you have in place, whatever boundaries you need to put in place, nothing should be blocking you from also being open. It's knowing that you are in reality as much as you are in your emotions. And that you shouldn't have to pick between, I'm protecting myself, I'm cutting myself off, I'm cutting this off. Some of you are distracting yourself purposefully, maybe not trying to sit in the feeling. And I think this card of being in flow asks you to sit in whatever feeling that you're in and to honor it. Communication. Coming back to throat chakra. So trusting your instincts and your intuition and your inner knowingness and your inner guidance system, your own intelligence around your communications and how you communicate, and communicating with heart. But the prominent thing really is not blocking yourself from speaking your truth. Being direct, being clear, being in focus. Even if you feel that in expressing yourself, you feel like you've sort of like jumped off the abyss, you jumped off the cliff into the ocean, and now you're free falling. And you're seeing where you can't control this current. You have to see where it takes you. There was a card that flipped over while I was shuffling, so I'm going to grab that one too. And it's this projections card. And we notice the two people. So Is somebody projecting something onto you, or are you projecting something onto someone? And in taking responsibility for what you might be doing as well as acknowledging what they're doing. So you might want to ask, is someone projecting past relationship traumas, past relationship stuff onto you? But I feel that it's very likely that you might have seen what you are doing. If you are projecting your old stories, wanting to also mirror back to yourself, or to be tempted to mirror back to yourself the negative meaning making around relationship and intimate partnership. And just because somebody is projecting their stuff onto you, that doesn't mean it has to activate and trigger all your old meaning making and start you on the loop over and over again. It could even be a really great opportunity to acknowledge that you have awareness around that, and you can say, okay, I'm really tempted. This person's projecting their stuff onto me, and it brings me back to this awful place, or this old negative thinking pattern, or this old pattern around protecting myself around relationship. And just acknowledge that and be in the flow with it, and don't ignore your feelings, and how intimate partnership does bring up within us very often. It brings to the surface what we need to see, what we need to face ourselves. And it's bringing it up in them. But just because they might be in a process, perhaps somebody here is having a hard time just going with the flow. Maybe somebody here feels like they're in the ocean just aimlessly floating around, and they don't get that they are being taken to the next place if they could just feel into where they are and let the current take them to the safe shores of the next chapter of where they're meant to be, or where they can go, where the opportunity can lie in creating a deeper intimacy, deeper love that comes from a real heart connection, clarity, focus, where somebody has to not be afraid to communicate. Both of you have to not be afraid to communicate. But the communication could potentially put you in this flow that could potentially feel uncomfortable. And in the discomfort, and sitting in that discomfort, being in flow with whatever gets triggered, activated, to take a moment to just sit in it with yourself, and to be a little uncomfortable so that you can break through. So even if you can only sit there with it for a few minutes, and you can just notice, okay, I'm here and it's uncomfortable. And don't worry about what they're doing. It's like, well, they should be doing this too. We can't control them. We only can be in flow with ourselves, right? To be in flow with ourselves is part of the gift of being able to be in flow with someone else. We have to understand what it means to be in flow with our own intimate relationship with ourselves. So just taking a moment to breathe. I hope you are doing well today. Please give this video a thumbs up as you are resonating. I would really appreciate that. It helps me out a lot, and I would be very thankful. Let me know your validations and insights in the comments below. And when you see other people's comments you resonate with, please connect with them, and we'll be a real community here of support. All right, let's grab. So the Temperance card. There is a need for a lot of patience as you begin to mix and match all the different parts of yourself, all the experiences. I want to say this is like sifting through the old, sifting through what's not needed, sifting. You're also filling your cup up with some new stuff, I feel. And you need to be patient with yourself as you have been in discovery around what you really need and want. And it's like you're filling up your own cup first with what it is you actually want to nourish yourself with, how you need to be nourished. So it's like, that doesn't work for me. It's like taking a cup of something bad, like, no, this is what I want. And as you begin to offer to other people, it's important that you're offering what you really want to give as well. You're just not offering to them what they want to hear or what you think they want to hear. It's like, this is what I want, before making any huge compromises around whatever is going on. It's about, this is what I can offer. Perhaps also somebody is sifting through what they can offer you, and there's a certain degree of patience and space that is needed as someone is in discovery of maybe how they're projecting things on to you. They also might be, there might be somebody else involved. And I'm thinking parents as well here. Somebody could be seeing how their childhood is being mirrored back to them, the projections that their parents put on them, and how that familial bond has affected them, and how they're kind of making meaning and creating stories around relationship based on childhood, and how their parents did things and how their closest relatives did things. And as well as exes. Somebody here is going through a very difficult divorce, and it's an ex-partner is really projecting a lot onto them. And so it's whatever topics of intimacy are coming up in the connection, like that level of intimacy, that level of feeling in flow, because there are two people here that very much feel in flow with each other in a very deep way, in a very intuitive way. It's the way of the heart, and it's the heart intelligence. And if somebody is not used to that, it can feel like you're losing yourself. And so everybody here is trying to decide what it is they're making. You know, what am I making for myself in my life? How am I creating my life in such a way that I have something to give? But there's deep contemplation in it. It's like really intently kind of looking as they pour that, right? And it's taking time to make this new concoction, this new magic potion, this new potion number 9. There's something about new growth here with these flowers here on the side. And somebody is tiptoeing. It's like, I'm part into the emotion, I'm part on land, but it's like, you know, I want to get stable, I want to go, I don't want to be swimming in this sea here, I don't want to be in the water, I don't want to be in the emotion, but it's also like way too tempting not to, because of what could be shared, what could be explored together. Okay. Reciprocity with the 6 of Pentacles, making, you know, it's important that you feel like it's an equal measure, giving and receiving, right? It's a balance. To give is to receive is to give. And in that intimate connection, we think about the breath, and we're breathing in and we're breathing out, right? And it's sort of like this breath of life, this intimacy that we create as we go deeper with ourselves, as we understand all those activations, all those triggers, all those places of feeling uncomfortable, and we breathe into it with ourselves. We're also sitting in what can be uncomfortable with another sometimes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because in those moments of discomfort, there is growth. There is an empty space. It's a creative space. It's a space where anything could potentially be possible, and where no matter what happens, you can feel that you're becoming the self you want to be. You're learning more about yourself. With the King of Pentacles, somebody here is trying to figure out how their wealth and how everything that they've accumulated fits into their love life. Because this particular King of Pentacles is really looking at that pentacle. You could be with somebody or exploring something with somebody that is very powerful in what they can actually manifest as far as they're very successful. And they are extremely grounded. You know, they've become this successful because they know how to take their creative, their intellectual drive, and be able to actually produce. But they're wondering, what is it all about? And is it enough for me? Perhaps somebody is going through a divorce and they could lose money, or they don't want to lose a house, or I don't get the feeling that somebody would go broke on this, but is this really fair? Like, I've earned this. I invested in this. I don't want to give this up. I don't want to give up a certain investment, perhaps with an ex-partner, or I don't want to continue to get myself involved anymore in this investment with this person. Like, how do I get out of this? Perhaps somebody is dealing with an ex that can't give them their part of the house. Like, they can't buy it from them, their half or something. And maybe they live there with someone else now, perhaps. And it's like, no, it's got to be sold and it's got to be split. And it's taking a very long time. Maybe this is with a business, but it's taking a very long time. Someone wants to feel like things are due. There could be children involved and people wanting this money for their children. Maybe it's not like, I'm not asking you for my half of the house so that I can go off and buy a Ferrari. It's like, I'm putting it in my kid's college fund. I'm leaving it to them in the will. There's something like that. Okay, let's keep going. Transgression. We got the racy oracle cards here. Transgression. What about transgression? Well, someone's very tempted. Someone's very tempted by you. Someone feels very beguiled by you. It's like you're somebody's little kitten. It doesn't really matter what gender you are. It's like you're somebody's little kitten. Like, they want to cuddle up with you. They feel like you're purring for them. But with this snake here, snakes are great. This is very Eve, in the garden right here with this apple and this snake. But someone feels very tempted by you. But snakes are also transmutation. They're also shedding the old. Somebody needs to be shedding the old of their past, perhaps past what they've gotten from their family, past with exes, past failed relationships. They can't not be reciprocal with you because somebody hasn't been reciprocal with them. It's like breaking this pattern of a lack of reciprocity, and understanding that you can be grounded, you can be in your emotions, you can be in flow. Don't have to worry so hard about every single ingredient that you're mixing together. Someone has to get it through their brain that they've taken all the time that they needed, actually, really. They don't need any more time, like it's go time here. And in the meantime, you are taking care of yourself. You are, again, making sure that you are extremely clear, focused, have a good understanding of exactly what it is you need and exactly what it is you're offering. Because how can you ask someone, this is what I need from you, if you don't know what you need? It's not, I'll take anything. I'm just so happy to get to go out. I'm just so happy someone's taking me somewhere. I'm going on a vacation. Because is it really reciprocal? Are you getting what you want? Are you just getting to get to go out with someone, but then you don't know if you're going to get to go out with them again because they're too focused on trying to figure out what is the meaning of life and what does it all mean? What is all this wealth, abundance? What is this kingdom? What is this kingdom that I've created? And do I even want to be in this kingdom anymore? Do I want to hand it over to the prince? And do I want to like go live in the country castle with my little kitten? All right, just do one more here. Power. Believing in the power of your own choices and what you have already created and what you are getting clear on, what you're getting focused on, all the work that you've done with connecting to the power of your own ability to be free falling, to be in flow. It doesn't scare you anymore, does it? Like you're okay. Like things are where they are and you're not being thrown around. You've learned how to like let things be. But there's a little bit of a power play going on between about reciprocity, about what you need and what someone perhaps has told you they can give, or they've told you what you could not give, or maybe they didn't even quite say it at all. Maybe they were a little bit confused or about what they said or what they not said, because really you're their little kitten and they're like incredibly tempted by you, but they have to shed an old skin. They have to let something go. They need to let themselves be tempted by you. And it's very much about letting yourself surrender within your own power. It's not about surrendering all of your power. It's about embracing your power as part of your sexuality and a part of your process and intimacy. Perhaps as much as this person is enchanted by you and just so tempted by the power of what you bring up in them, the desire, the passion, the inspiration, perhaps they don't know what to do with it quite yet. And there's a certain amount of divine timing and space in them figuring it out. And you get to decide how long you want to wait in this, what you want to do with this. But whatever it is, do not be afraid to speak up. Speak up and stir it up, right? Mix it up. Don't be afraid to mix things up. Don't be afraid to stir the pot. Don't be afraid to say what you have to say. Because you don't want to set precedent in any relationship, where no matter where you are in the relationship, new, in the middle of it, a long time. You don't want to set any kind of precedence in a cycle by not being clear about what you want, what you need, and then basically getting pissed off and resentful weeks, months, years later when you never said that you want that. So go ahead and let there be a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling, and taking care of yourself in the process and reaching out to friends, community, getting really involved in your work, giving to yourself. I actually just want to see a little bit more about what potentially could happen at the end. At the end, what's the next step? Devil in reverse, somebody is going to break a pattern. Someone that's a pattern, they've been addicted to a certain kind of thinking around relationship. Maybe they haven't felt worthy, really. Maybe they felt, I've screwed this up so many times, I don't want to screw it up again. I'm just going to bounce around from person to person. I'm never really, but they're so like damn tempted by the sweetness of you, by how you do take care of and nourish yourself, by how, you know, you're not afraid of the power within your own ability to be intimate and to open up, even if they don't like what you're saying, because it stirs their pot, because it activates something in them, because it's forcing them to make a change that they actually want to make, because they need to shed something. So there's a pattern that's about to be broken at some point as we close out this year, as we close out this cycle, and we go into something new. But this is very old. Somebody's perhaps been really bonded to someone that disgusting is the word I'm getting. It's like intimacy turned bad. Someone using intimacy to manipulate. Somebody who's obsessive here. You could be with somebody who has, it very much could be an ex or someone from their past that was obsessive in using certain things against them. That's for a few of you out there. Or using sex, using the power, but it's not like delicious to them. It's not tempting to them. It feels, it's more instant gratification, or them seeking what they thought that they should have in their life as opposed to what they actually ended up really wanting. This is someone recognizing that they have grown and maybe they've grown into something that they never expected that they would be. And part of it is the inspiration of who you are. So there's toxic bonds, and this could be going very familial, very ancestral. There comes a moment in our lives where sometimes we realize that we're the one actually breaking huge ancestral cycles of trauma. I want to say deceit, perhaps people coming from relationships like their parents and their grandparents, and maybe it was like you're being raised to do a certain thing, like this is what you should do, as opposed to like you need to be with someone from this religion or this culture or this kind of success, or you're this successful, so you need to be with somebody who's also this successful, or you've got that, so you want to be with someone who's got this too, when really you should be with the person who makes you the highest version of yourself, who uplifts you. But it's also about being with the person who does challenge you, challenges you out of the greatest love and caring. And intimacy can be very much about telling the truth and sitting in the truth with someone, regardless of how much it stirs your pot or their pot. We're pot stirrers. But there could be a little bit of timing. There's some stuff going on around someone's process in this. So say what you got to say, do what you got to do, take care of yourself, love yourself, sit in the empty space, and don't forget to stay in the good. Thank you for watching. I will leave you here. Please subscribe if you're feeling called. I would love to have you a member of the community. It would mean so much to me. Bye.